Woo! Alright everyone, here is a PvZ with my favorite Protoss player, DuckloadRa, and he is playing ATN Mardow. So it is a PvZ on Lost Temple, and this should be a great game. Today everyone is October 30th, the day before Halloween, which means that Halloween is actually tonight, October 31st. And I'm super excited for that. I love Halloween, one of my favorite holidays, and just to be in the spirit of things, I want to know what you guys are being for Halloween. So if you are doing a costume, and you should be doing a costume for Halloween, I mean, you do Halloween as a kid, and you're doing a costume every single year, and then there's like a couple of years as a teenager where you're too cool for Halloween, and then like you just start doing it again because you realize how much fun it is. So I want to know what you guys are being for Halloween, and let me know in the description. I am deciding between a couple right now. I think I might actually go with Justin Bieber because I kind of have the hair for it, so I might be doing that. And yeah, I think I got some of the clothes for that too. Just might need some skater shoes. Don't really have any though, but yeah, enough about that. Let's get into this game, guys. It is a PvZ on Lost Temple, as I've said, with DuckloadRa and ATN Mardow. So let's see what they're doing right here. And it's interesting to note that Duckload is not actually going for one of the conventional builds on this map, which is build the pylon out here and then build your gateways out here. And what that essentially does is it helps secure your natural expansion, and it also lets you build a nice little funnel here for the Zerg player to get trapped in. So if you get enough sentries, you can even block off this entire section here with 3 force fields. If you do it just well enough, you can trap a large part of the Zerg army there, and if they're trying to escape or train some zealots away from you, then you'll be able to do a good job there. This probe going across the map right now, scouting, checking what is going on here, and a spawning pool going on for ATN Mardow right now. So they are just realizing that they are cross-spawned from each other, so I would not be surprised to see a hatchery being thrown up next for ATN Mardow. Really, this rush distance is not conducive for rushing. So yeah, that's what we see right here. The hatchery is down, and Duckload going for that fast core, and drone and probe attacking action going on over here. So we're not going to see a chrono boosted zealot. We're just going to see probes, probably a fast tech, and it would be interesting to see what DuckloadRa decides to go. Is he going to go for a 4-gate push here? And yeah, just as I'm talking about, as a Protoss player against Zerg, it's very important to have this nice little choke build right here, because it's, as fighting Zerg, you're going to be fighting a lot of units, so this is especially good for Zerglings. If you can put in a couple Zealots here, even if you've got some Zerglings and Roaches, it'll just be that much more difficult for the Zerg player to go and do substantial damage to you. So right now we see that warp gate technology is being researched, and a stalker is coming out. So he is going to be going straight for that drone right now, and might even be going for some harass. It's really difficult for Zerg to do anything against early stalkers because they're not going to have enough Zerglings and probably not Zergling speed to trap any stalkers. So really they can get a couple of units down, maybe even an Overlord, a couple of drones. If you can get like 2 or 3 stalkers out, you can do significant amounts of damage to Zerg players early in the game. So might Duckload be going for some kind of fast harass like that? We shall soon see. The stalker is moving across the map actually, so we might see something like that. The other one is on its way. Rally being set to this stalker, so yeah, doing kind of what I like to do on this map, and at the right time too, because this spine crawler is being created right now. ATN Mardow is definitely anticipating kind of harass. He's getting metabolic boost as fast as possible, so he does not want to get caught by stalker too much. So there is 25 minerals going down for that Zerg player. One Zergling is squashed, and the stalker going across the map right now, but there is going to be that spine crawler, so I don't think that Duckload is going to be able to do all that much since that spine crawler is going to be going down. The queen's going to take a couple of hits, but with some good micro, there's really no worry for this queen to die. And yeah, that spine crawler is now effectively defending this natural expansion position, and Duckload responding to the natural expand with a fast natural expand himself. So he is not going a 4-gate just yet. He's actually going to go more for the economic game. And from my experience, I think that pays off. Doing Zerg can actually defend against a 4-gate pretty well if they get enough spines. So I think Duckload is making the right decision here, but we don't see very many spines for ATN Mardow. I think he's going more for the tech build, which actually a 4-gate would be great against. So we'll see how this pays off. One spine is forced to be canceled. The queen might actually die right here. Are these drones going to get us round up? The queen is able to go back, and one drone does go down. There's only one spine here. Might he be able to cancel this next spine? Yes, good micro here. He is forcing the spine to attack the stalker with the most shield. He's going to back off a little bit, maybe send out a couple more units, and 4 sentries right now, so it looks like DuckloadRa is going to be trying to maybe block up some of the drones that are coming in, block up some of the Zerglings that might be coming down from the ramp, so that'll be easier for him to defend against this position. But we do see that Zerglings are here right now, so actually going to be tough for DuckloadRa to do anything offensively right now. I think these sentries might be more for a defensive prospect, and if I'm looking at this correctly, there are 3 gateways, 2 warp gates, so DuckloadRa's definitely going to have enough to deal with this. With the Zealot or 2, he's definitely going to be able to, but he's actually choosing to warp in more sentries, so he is super gas heavy. He must have saturated these assimilators very quick. He is now making more gateways, so he has his 5-gate going up actually, and looks like ATN Mardow is going for this high yield expansion as fast as possible, and a spire is being built for ATN Mardow as well. So not sure where that is exactly. There it is. There's a little spire, and he's going to be going for Mutalisks, so that's going to be difficult for DuckloadRa to deal with. Without any static D and without Phoenixes, it's actually pretty hard to deal with Mutalisks as a Protoss player, because Stalkers can be quick, but not quick enough. You know, you really are going to need Blink upgrade, and force field going on the cliff right here. You really are going to need a Blink upgrade if you want to catch Mutalisks out in time, or else they're just going to have a lot of free range on you. So I wouldn't be surprised to see if later we see DuckloadRa maybe getting a Forge and popping on some static D here, because I think it's almost necessary for Mutalisks. He does have a lot of anti-air, obviously, just face-to-face he's going to be able to take the army on, but again, that mobility is what Mutalisks have on a Stalker and Sentry army like this. So these Zerglings really have no place to run. There's no burrow on these Lings. They are going to go down, and he tries to run, but how are you going to run from like 8 sentries? How many is that? 7 sentries. So there's absolutely no way nowhere this guy's going to go. And I like the spine crawler placement. You need an observer or some kind of high ground to deal with this. So very nice placement by ATN Mardow. I don't think that there is actually a robotics facility being built for DuckloadRa at the moment, and we saw that 12 Mutalisks were being popped out, so that is a lot of Mutalisks, actually 12 being constructed. 9 are out in the field right now, and picking off those sentries, expensive gas-heavy units on those sentries, and taking tons of damage from these spine crawlers. Is this a good spot for DuckloadRa? Is this going to pay off? I don't think it's actually the greatest position for him, but he's doing a great job with those force field, but is this really enough manpower to deal with the Mutalisks and the spine crawlers? So most of the spines are down. These mutas are going to go down too, so this might be a fairly even exchange. Looking at the resources lost, DuckloadRa is down about 500 resources. A couple more Zealots coming in, trying to tank some of that spine damage, and losing a lot of Mutalisks like that is definitely going to affect his harassment capability. However, at what cost did DuckloadRa lose his entire army there? And it looks like the cost is at about 900 or 1100 minerals actually for DuckloadRa. So I don't think that was the best exchange that DuckloadRa could have gone for. He was really crunched in position here. He tried to back up here to get away from these spines, but then again, he did take a lot of damage from here, and the spines on this side, combined with the Mutalisk's fire, was actually pretty devastating for DuckloadRa. So we see the Forge. I don't see any static D being constructed just yet. There we go. The photon cannon's being built right now, so that's what we are seeing actually. Static D for DuckloadRa. He is going to continue with the Stalker build, and he is going for the level 1 weapons upgrade. I always love to see weapons technology as fast as possible in a game like this. It's especially if you're not going High Templar or Colossus anytime soon, you're going to need that weapons upgrade to deal with Zerg mass. If you're going Zerglings or Hydralisks or something like that, and especially against head-to-head combat against Mutalisks like this, you're going to need something more than just plain vanilla Stalkers. So this high yield is going to go down as well. The pylon is being placed, and here is one probe annoyingly picked off by these Mutalisks. So here is the mobility that I was talking about. But the thing is that DuckloadRa has prepared for this. He does have these cannons, so I don't really think that these Mutalisks are going to be able to do the damage that they want to. So despite the fact that DuckloadRa did lose a lot on that last exchange, what he is gaining right now was the information to effectively defend against this amount of Mutalisks. And actually there's a blank spot right here. These cannons cannot hit. I would have expected Duckload to put something back here as well. This is not actually the best spot for cannon to be placed. A triangle formation is probably the best. Yeah, Mutalisks are being forced to back off, so they were actually able to pick off quite a few probes there. I think at least 4 or 5 with that glaive attack. And level 1 weapons are finished, and the hatchery is being placed for the Zerg player, and the Nexus is being placed for DuckloadRa, so he's actually going to be able to get that high yield a little bit quicker. Looking at what's being produced right now, level 1 weapons for Zerg and for Zerg melee and Zerg air. So we are definitely seeing a Mutaling combination here. And Zealots and Stalkers are definitely a good head-to-head combination against that, and Sentries are good too to block off the Zerglings from the Stalkers, because that's actually the weak point for the Protoss Gateway Force. How is he going to deal with all those Zerglings with these Stalkers? So you need a combination of Zealots and Sentries to try to deal with that. So here